Here at the Western Wall in Jerusalem, there seems to be a never-ending supply of cold water in this very hot end of summer in Jerusalem. Back at the top of that hill, right where Yeshua would have been standing, and it would have been the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. When he stood right up there where that gold dome is, the Holy Temple was there in those days. And he said, "If any man's thirsty, let him come to me and drink." It's an odd thing to say, except with that water, maybe that'll help you to understand. You see, on that day, there was a great water pouring ceremony that took place on top of the hill. And it was the beginning of the rainy season. So you'd say, well, that's not hard to pour out water on the beginning of a rainy season. Except if it didn't rain, then your water supply, which had been used up all through the summer, well, there was none left. So that the priest would pour out the water. He's basically saying, if God doesn't come through, we're lost. So this whole idea of living water that Yeshua said, if you're thirsty, come to me and drink, well, it makes a lot of sense on Sukkot and on this day and on any day when you're hot and thirsty, to be able to just go to a little fountain, a little bubbler, and get a filled up water supply. That's what I just did. Well, that's pretty easy. But on that day when Yeshua said, if you're thirsty, come to me and drink, that took faith. It took faith for the guy to pour it. It took faith for the people to listen to Yeshua. It took faith for Yeshua to say, I'm the supply for you. In fact, that's still the word for this day. So if anyone who's watching this video, who's listening to my voice, is thirsty, you have to admit you're thirsty. Everybody gets thirsty, but if you're thirsty for living water, thirsty for eternal life, thirsty for God's love and life, then come to him, he said. That takes an admission that he is somebody with whom you have to deal. It takes an admission that he's the Messiah. It takes an admission that he's the one and the only one who can supply exactly what we need, whether here at the Western Wall in Jerusalem or wherever it is you live. Come to me, he said, and drink. Now back in these days, in those days, every day the only way to drink is to exalt the water bottle, that is to lift it higher than you and pour it down. Unless you have some kind of pump or a straw, you can't get anything into you unless it's higher than you. Yeshua said, if anyone's thirsty, let him come to me and drink. So you have to exalt him. Gadlu ladonai kitov. Let us exalt his name together. Magnify the Lord with me. So somehow lift him up and drink. And it says, and out of his belly will flow rivers of living water. So you exalt him and then imbibe what he has to say. Imbibe, drink in what he has to teach. Drink in his life. It's a whole lot better than all the joy and celebration of a bar mitzvah down there at the bottom of the hill, or wherever it is that your football team or basketball, baseball, any sports team that just won. Let him drink, and out of his belly will flow rivers of living water. You're going to have supply to pass on to other people. So if you're thirsty, if you really want eternal life, Yeshua and Yeshua alone can give that to you. And he promises to supply that to you and provide that not only for you, that you might receive it, but then that you should pass it on to others. Chag Sameach.